Hello everybody. Why do I forget the day and time the minute I turn on the camera? It's Monday the 30th. It's Monday the 30th. All right, so I'm feeling pretty good today and the last couple days. Saturday we got to my grandma's house, so that was the last day that we really didn't, I really didn't do anything yesterday. I didn't do anything because again, it takes me, I don't know, I have to like get used to a new place before I can actually do anything. I don't know. I gotta stop doing that. But I have 2 days left of camp and I still have 7,866 words to write. I can do it. I can do it. I'm not that worried about the word count. Like, I really don't care that much whether or not I make my goal of 25,000 words. It's not that big of a deal. It's just that I went the entire 4th week not writing between traveling and doctor appointments and just migraines. I felt like crap the entire week. So just finally, like yesterday, I woke up and I was like, hey, I don't feel like a big whole pile of dog crap. It's nice. It's nice to wake up and not feel like utter shit. It doesn't happen to me very often. So I'm gonna try to take advantage of that while I can, I guess. So I have 2 days left, and there was one day, the Friday, I was working on character and story notes, and it was while I was kind of packing my stuff to go back to my grandma's house. I was kind of sitting and working on character and story notes that I was looking at my novella, and I think they were notes that I had kind of had in my head anyway, that I think they take place in a certain location similar to where my psychic's whip does. Like, in my magic universe, I kind of have it separated by regions for North America. So because of the events I had happening in the novella, I was like, oh, I think this takes place where the psychic whip happens. So I was like, wait, does that make sense for the events of the psychic whip? So I had to kind of take a step back and look at that. And I was like, And I looked and I was like, no, I think that makes sense. Even though I was taking a look at all the other characters I have, the ones that are in the novella and are connected to the novella. And it just made me look at the characters who are in that western region compared to some of the other regions, and I was like, wow, you all are a mess. Like, the western region characters, they're a mess. I was like, okay, I don't really know what to do about any of you. The ones in like the rest of the country are not so bad off. Like some of them have their own bad situations, but the western region is they're in a pretty bad situation. And considering I'm working on their stories for the foreseeable future, like with the novella and their connecting stories and their whole friend group and their connecting stories, I was like, wow, you guys, your whole region is messed up. And it makes sense because of the way I'm writing the magic universe. The core concepts of my universe are dependent upon the region and the magic in the universe. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, it makes sense that like once it starts going downhill, it all goes downhill. But I was like, wow. Oh, you all are a mess. It makes sense now why my psychics characters are all, they're all a bunch of messy characters too. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like my novella characters, Dominic and Mateos, I was like, they're a bunch of cinnamon rolls, okay, compared to some of like my psychic swip characters. Like Emily and Kane are they're kind of assholes. Like, I'm just gonna be real and upfront about that. They're assholes. Paul is, he's not an asshole. Like, he's a cinnamon roll, but he's got a lot of stuff he's dealing with. So it just, yeah, two-thirds of the people narrating that book are kind of assholes. So yeah. The novella characters, I was like, they're not assholes, but they have a long journey ahead of them, and I realized what I'm going to be doing to them, and I was like, those poor characters. I'm sorry. I'm not really that sorry though, because I gotta do it. Like, they gotta go through some stuff. All the characters do. Do you ever think about the stuff you're gonna do to your characters? The shit you're gonna put them through? And just laugh. But then also feel bad about it, but then still laugh. Maybe I'm a horrible person, I don't know. I was talking with Sid the Dreamer again on one of her videos where she was talking about her editing goals for her book. So we were going back and forth on editing for the characters and basically like the character motivations and the arcs. And she was saying that like having to make sure that her characters have enough agency, basically. And again, it's one of those things that I have to think about because I have 3 narrators. And there's one main plot. And I was like, okay, Kane's kind of involved in that main plot, so I don't really have to worry about him. Like, he's kind of a go-getter in that plot. He's involved with the agency, like he has to solve cases, like that is his job. So I don't really have to worry about him being like action oriented. Paul isn't really involved in the main plot. He's got his own things going on. I don't know why. He's doing his own thing, and I have to like converge his plot with the main plot. Like, it does converge eventually, just I don't know. He's doing his own thing though, and he is proactive in his thing, just not with the main plot. And then there's Emily, and I was like, shit, ostensibly she is the main character because she's the one that opens up the story, and she's the one that the book is really about, because she's the one who starts everything. So, and yet she's the one that I was like, she's like noping out of everything. And I was like, okay. She spends most of her time with Kane though, so he's like doing his best to pull her into the plot, and she's just like not having it as much as possible. And and Cindy was like, well, you know, make sure that you just like, if you're going into the revision, like give her some agency, make sure that she's making decisions to make the plot happen, or just make sure she's not so meek and, you know, making decisions. And I was like, no, she's not meek. She's just aggressively passive. Like she just wants nothing to do with this plot. They're like, hey, this demon wants to kill you, and she's like, so I'm gonna be over here like, nah, I don't care. I don't really, nah. Like Kane has to literally like drag her kicking and screaming into the plot, okay? She just wants to bury her head in the sand. And that's kind of the point of her character arc, is by the end of the book, she is forced to make a decision that basically has consequences for the rest of the series. And she may be getting pulled for most of the book and like pushed in a certain direction, and things keep happening to her. But it does eventually make it so that she has to make a decision, and that has the far-reaching consequences. The rest of the book is basically relying on Kane and Paul's decisions. And it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know if that's so much a problem, if it's going to be seen as a problem of Emily being too passive and not having enough agency, because I was like, you know, stuff's happening to her, stuff's happening like around her, and Kane has a direct involvement, so he's not letting her like really ignore it as much as she would like to. But it's just one of those things where it's like, where she's like, will you just let me go to school? She's like, I don't even want to be here or do anything, just let me live, okay? And he's like, I'm gonna strangle you. He's like, you're not even protecting yourself. Like, you don't even care. Like, you're not going to survive this if you don't take this seriously. That's basically like their back and forth for most of the book. They're very similar characters, so they butt heads a lot, and I'm just like, you too? Oh, okay. And then Paul's just over there doing his own thing with his own plot, and I'm just like, God, what is this book? It's too long. It's almost 200,000 words of what? I don't know. I don't even know at this point. But yeah, so that's why I was starting to think about it, and I was just like, I guess I'm gonna have to really think about it in the next draft revision, and not only keep an eye on the subplots, but on the character arcs, and make sure that they're actually doing stuff. I can't wait until I hopefully get this into a readable state and somebody can read it and then tell me and be like, yeah, okay, you can't do that. Like, she's gotta be doing something, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay, well, could you write her and make her do something, because she's an asshole who doesn't want to do anything. I don't know how to make any of my characters do anything that they don't want to do. I'm struggling, okay? I'm struggling. So yeah, it's all fine and dandy, but it's okay. So because of the scenes I was writing, not this past week, but the week before, because I didn't do any writing last week, these scenes that they were new, but not new, like they were approaching plot elements just in a new way. Like I'd kind of glossed over this in my rough draft. And so basically I was writing out these scenes that I had glossed over, like case scenes basically, and I was making Kane involved in this case, and I liked that element. And then he was like, okay, let's bring Emily into this, and I was like, okay. She's not gonna appreciate this, but okay. So this is what I mean when I'm just like, okay, if Kane wasn't there, Emily would not be having any of this. So yeah, there would be no plot happening for Emily if Kane wasn't there, because Kane is literally dragging her around. I look ahead at the series and I'm just like, I know what's going to be happening. I can't wait till you all get there into like what you guys need to be, but like this first book is rough. Yeah, those scenes I was writing are good. Like they were bringing Emily into it, and then the new character Levi was just dropping bombs on them, and I'm just like, who are you and what are you doing here? I actually do know who he is now. Like when I looked back at my notes, like the notes that I had been redoing for the series, like really finalizing some world building notes a little bit earlier, like after April's camp. And I looked at it and there was just this blank space, and I was like, is that for Levi's character? This character that just popped up out of nowhere? And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because he's a mysterious guy, and that is a mysterious blank that I have right there. And I was like, all right, my brain knows what it's doing, so I guess I just gotta trust it with the characters and stuff. That's why, as much as it's like, oh, Emily has no agency, and I'm like, yeah, that's actually the point of the story, is that she does have no agency, and that she's purposely avoiding having agency when it comes to this, because really it kind of scares her. Like that's where her character arc is going, because the whole point of her thing is like she never wanted these psychic abilities, and it has scared her entire life. So the fact that she's getting dragged into this world even more, and it's becoming more dangerous for her, she's just like, no thanks, I'd rather not. You know? So it's just the fact that she's being pushed and pushed, and it's just, that is her story. Like she is going to be pushed to a breaking point where she will have to make a decision that has consequences. And it's like, yeah, she's trying to stick her head in the sand, and it doesn't work because Kane's not letting her. So I don't know, we'll see if these story arcs work. The next draft, I do have work to do for like Paul's story arc. I know, because he's just doing whatever he wants, and I keep revising his, and he just keeps doing whatever he wants. Like it's always out of order for what's in my head, and I'm just like, okay, but I do see where it's going. So I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense because of how I changed the timeline. So I guess things did have to be moved up because I was moving the timeline up, and I was like, okay, I guess this makes sense. Okay. And there's some characters being thrown into his subplot that I was like, who are you and what are you doing here? There's so many characters in this book. I don't know what to do with them. There's a lot of them. And it's one of those books where it's like, well, can you combine some of the characters? And I'm like, yeah, I already did that. Like, I already cut characters that I could cut or take out until like later. I already did that. There's still a lot of them. So the remaining characters are important, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Anyway, the character arcs are complicated. The plot is, I don't know. I'm trying to avoid having like a wishy-washy protagonist, but she's kind of wishy-washy because she's in the world, but she doesn't really want to be in the world. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that I'm gonna have to tackle. Like, I'm still tackling it as I'm revising this last part of my book, the last like act, I guess, which technically I think I'm in like I'm in like act 3, and then I'm going into act 4 is what I'm in. The last 100 pages, I don't know. So, well, I'm still tackling that issue, but I'm gonna have to really focus on it in the next draft as well. Talking about it, I was just like, yeah, I know that specific character is not like actively making decisions, but the other characters are. So does that make up for anything? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So I have today and I have tomorrow to write a little over 7,000 words, and I'm not doing anything except maybe reading a book. So I feel like I should be able to do that. Well, okay, my mom and I are watching Orange is the New Black, the new season. So, but still, I should be able to write. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing sprints and just writing as much as possible. I don't know if I'm going to go back to my novella right now or just keep trying to go back to my psychic whip. So I'm gonna be doing some sprints. It does take me like an hour to write 1,000 words. So 7 hours over the course of today and tomorrow. I can do it. Here I go. Everybody, it's the 31st and I did not make my goal. So my camp goal was to write 25,000 words and I wrote 21,660 words. So yeah, all right, yeah. So if I had actually written like at all in the 4th week, maybe I would have made my goal, because I really wasn't that far off. But yeah, because I didn't write the 4th week of camp because I was traveling and there were migraines, but that's okay. So Monday the 30th, I actually, you know, got back to work on the last 2 days of camp, because that's how my life goes. I don't know. So that day I wrote 2,835 words, nearly 3,000 words just in that single day, and that's really good for me. I think that's the most I've written in a single day for all of camp on the second to last day. All right. I'm fine with that. Whatever. I was kind of in a groove, so that's probably why the writing came a little bit easier that day. And so I hit 196,000 words for my book, and I was like, okay. And today I wrote 1,691 words, and it was a little bit tougher. I don't know if it's just because I wrote a lot yesterday, but I was kind of skipping around time-wise, when normally I wouldn't be doing that. So, you know when you just need to skip, like, I don't want to write a breakfast scene, so I need to just skip to the next important event that's happening. I was doing a lot of that. So if I find I need to add some stuff for pacing to like slow it down, then I'll add that in. But at this point I'm like, I need to just get the stuff written that needs to be in there to readjust the plot, and then I'll fix the pacing later. Like if I found that I've sped it up too much, I can adjust it. But for now I'm just skipping over things that don't need to be. I don't need to keep writing them eating food in the cafeteria or in their dorm. Do I? No, I don't want to. So I'm not. So yeah, I stopped in the middle of the scene, and it was a little tougher today. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe. I don't know. But even though I didn't make my goal, I have reached 198,306 words for my book. 198,000. I mean, I know I said I was probably gonna break 200,000, but I didn't actually want to. So I'm hoping I get to those sections real fast, that I can start cutting stuff out again and moving stuff out. I feel like I'm in a good writing mood. Like, I didn't make my camp goal, but I was close. And like, if I had felt better in week 4, I would have made my goal. Like, so it's okay. It's okay. And I made good progress in my book. Like, I worked on my timeline, and I think I've figured out the fix. I hope. So I feel like I'm in a good, like, I'm in a good way to make some steady progress for August. It will hopefully be easier for me to figure out how to actually mesh the pieces of my scenes back together so that they make sense. Hi, baby. Hi. What's wrong? I'll be done in a minute. Hi. What are you doing? Hi. Squeak, squeak, what are you doing? Hi. Lauren, what are you doing? Interrupting my filming? What are you doing? Why are you out here? My cat's being cute right now. So, I had a great time with camp this month. It went like really fast, like just so fast. I feel like this entire year has gone by so fast. And I'm already thinking about like NaNoWriMo already. I don't even know what that's about. But this camp, I don't know. I look at my calendar and I'm like, I could have done way better. But I've made a lot of good progress. I feel good about this camp, and I'm really hoping to continue this progress in August. Like that's the only goal I have so far. I'd like to keep working on my novella as well, and just maybe go back and forth a little bit more than I was, because I only wrote 3 chapters of the novella. So I'd like to keep working on that and see how far I can get. I like working on them both simultaneously because they do help me, and it helps me to work on 2 different projects. Like switching gears back and forth helps me sometimes if I ever start to feel stuck, like right now, because it was starting to drag a little bit working on my psychic slip, probably because I got so much done yesterday. And then today I was like, I'd like to finish up where I was going with these themes and switch over into my novella and see how far I can get. I've got some plans for September and October, but we'll see if I can actually finish revising my book or writing my novella. Either one of those, preferably both, would be great, because I'd like to get some critique partners to take a look at these stories. But I'm gonna need to do another draft on my psychic slip after I finish this draft, so it's gonna be another while down the line before that happens, because it still needs work, because all of this new stuff I'm adding, this whole new book basically that I'm writing, it's like another rough draft. Yeah, so I'm basically realizing that I'm gonna have to go over it again as like another rough draft. It's so irritating. That's why I foresee that I will still be working on this probably in September. Like, if I could finish this draft in August, that would be wonderful. If I could do another draft in September, great. But considering I'm almost at 200,000 words, I don't think I would be able to do like another draft revision in 1 month. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So, hi Fumi. Hi Lovey. What you doing, dude? The kitties. Yes. Everybody's making noise. You moving the tripod? What are you doing? You look all crazy-eyed. What are you doing? So, I had a great experience with camp, and I'm looking forward to the recovery months where I will still be working like it's camp / nano. Like, I'm still gonna be writing and I'm still gonna be vlogging, so it's basically still nano for me. I just have my own goals, so please don't knock over my tripod, you dork. What are you doing? So, thank you to everybody who joined me on this journey. I really appreciate it. Please let me know how you guys did for your camp, if you made your goal, and let me know what your guys' goals are for the upcoming months. Are you planning on doing NaNoWriMo in November? And what are you guys doing in the in-between months? Are you gonna start prepping, or are you gonna be doing different projects? What? Fume? I guess I gotta go take care of my cats now, because cats. He sounds like he's dying, but he just wants attention. Possibly food. So I guess I'll go do that. Yeah. Anyway, I just, yep. Thank you to everybody for, you know, watching my videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video.